So a Panther fan and a Lightning fan walk into the bar, and the Lightning fan is the only one that leaves. That's the joke. I've been working on that since last night. I couldn't. So, all right. So let's a couple of things here. First of all, I just want to get two things out of the way. Hit 3,000 subscribers yesterday. Absolutely, just thank you to everybody. We almost hit 2,100 by the end of the day. I gained over 100 subscribers yesterday alone. So
we're gonna get to 3.
We're gonna get to 3. I'm just blown away at the timing. It's just like it's blowing up. Oh, okay, we're done. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after that. But I just want to give everybody a big thank you. Obviously, I had to give Stu big thanks because I've been doing this for 6 years. Like Stu says, this is my baby. But when I texted him before the season, I'm like, how about we do a video after every game? He didn't flinch. He's like, yeah, let's do it. So, big thank you to Stu, because
I'm even ready to do the Ranger Hurricane, because that's right now, that's all we have.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take a day or two to let my brain set. I'm still going to make content, but Stu and I will be back. Don't worry about that. I just have to, I'm the kind of person, I don't think about what I'm going to do until I need to do it. And I didn't want to think about postseason. I didn't want to cross my mind.
You want me to blow your mind and everybody else's mind? My first hockey game was in 1965 at the old Madison Square Garden. I went with my father, and in the afternoon were the New York Rovers. And then the evening game was the Rangers. Now you got to remember, there was terrible lighting.
Yeah.
No helmets.
Right.
Straight sticks. Okay.
Right.
I mean.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So the second thing is, and might be an odd, but we're gonna try to have some smiles here too, because we have no choice. I would like to apologize to Sam Bennett. Now, you all know I've been doing this a long time, and we've all seen whatever words you want to use, the magic, the juju, whatever you want to call it. I say something and then it'll happen. And my dumbass, I'm sorry, Sam, really. My dumbass, after game 3 in my post-game rant, talked about how the Tampa Bay players would be willing to block shots with their nuts for John Cooper. And Sam Bennett goes out there yesterday in the second period and blocked the shot with his nuts. You could call it coincidence. I don't know what words you want to call it, but it's a thing. We'll just call it a thing. So that's what I got. That's what I got, because I didn't have anything for getting swept. On my list of let's make that video, getting swept in the second round, I didn't have that folder. So how you doing, Stu?
Shocked, disappointed, sad, disgusted, feeling a lot of emotions here. First, I want to thank you for the shout out last night. That was really nice of you. And, when I came on board, my objective was to help you grow your channel. I watched your recaps, and, when we came up with the idea of the game review, I was like, yeah, and we've had a lot of fun, and we make a good team. And, it's just, like I said, it's sad that we're doing our last Panther review.
Yeah.
Like you suggested, maybe we'll do a couple of, postseason. Yeah. I'll try and get Billy, and I'll try and get Randy to get their take on things.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to talk about today.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to start, let's just start with Vasilevsky.
Right.
Who did it to us again.
Mm-hmm.
49 shots last night. And I don't remember how many shots we had last year in the 6th game, but he shut us out in the clinching game last year.
Yeah.
And all I can say is the guy is just phenomenal.
Yeah, he's on a different level.
He just rises to the occasion, and that's how you win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Having that goalie.
Yep.
Now, that being said, let's give props to Bob.
Right.
Although he let in a goal that he probably should have had if, like you said, if somebody had communicated with him and
Right.
said, Bob, drop. Like,
Yeah.
here's a situation where normally he drops to his knees.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Just yesterday, I mean, yesterday's video, I said,
Yeah.
Bob,
Yeah.
don't go down on your knees, stand up.
And he did. So
what
now
happens.
Stu's got the thing too.
But I knew going into that third period, especially them calling back and we obviously,
Right.
I mean, it was justified, but we got those 2 goals called back.
Right.
I said, whoever scores the first goal wins the game.
Yeah.
So, that's how it goes. I mean, I agree with you. The season was lost with 3.8 seconds left.
Yeah.
On a really dumb play by Uyghur. Although we had Brian and Kyle, predicting we were going to come back.
Right.
I think you and I silently were more realistic.
Yeah, it's just like I said, I was talking this morning to somebody and I was like, the air in the balloon kind of got let out because when you get scored upon with 3.8 seconds left at home to go down 0-2, you kind of know, you could kind of see the writing on the wall that the hockey gods might not be in our corner at this particular moment.
Yeah.
So,
and it's just incredible. It just boggles my mind that we only had 3 goals in the series.
I know.
This is a team that scored 322 goals.
I know.
So, listen, we did it to ourselves. And I sent you a couple of links yesterday. Mike Rupp on Twitter, if you guys search Mike Rupp, he did an analysis of 2 goals, which, I mean, he had the stylus where he, showed the Panther players and whatnot. And again, last night, we let a player sneak behind the defense.
Right.
And he was left all alone.
Right.
And somehow he got the puck. And Maroon, of all people,
Has to be Maroon.
I'm glad it wasn't Kucherov, but Maroon ranks up there. So Kucherov,
Right.
Stamkos, Maroon, those 3 guys just kill us. But all right, so we only scored 3 goals. So what does that tell us? And we scored so many goals in the regular season. So that tells us we got to work on the defense. So let's get to the coach.
Right.
I agree with you again. And I posted something on Twitter last night. That's why Brunette wasn't, that interim tag was not taken off. We need a new coach. I don't know if it's too late to get Barry Trotz. Supposedly he's signing with Winnipeg, but Barry Trotz is a defensive-minded coach, and that's where we need to concentrate. And maybe we don't get 322 goals.
Right.
But I'd rather be more defensive minded.
Well, I'd rather win games in a regular season 3-2 and be able to win playoff games 3-2 than win 8-1 in the regular season and have this in the playoffs. Because,
Right.
I mean, we talked about this. Let's face it. If it wasn't for Carter Verhaeghe against Washington, and if they don't miss that empty net, we're not even talking about getting swept by Tampa.
Yep.
So,
I mean, if we want to talk about the defense, I think Ekblad had a decent series.
he's hurt.
I agree, kind of, sort of that. Yeah, he might be hurt.
He's skating funny. His legs are
ever
too
since
wide.
he took that hit from Ovechkin.
Yeah.
Remember, he got rocked by Ovechkin.
Yeah,
remember, he
yeah.
left the game and then came back.
Yeah.
Uyghur sucked. Forsling, my man, wasn't good this series.
No.
Okay. Gudis, he had a decent series. Sherrod had a decent series.
Right.
Montour, okay, what happened to Montour offensively? But
What happened to everybody offensively?
So if I'm Bill Zito in the offseason, I get rid of Uyghur, let him take his, $8 million and sign somewhere else, Montreal or whoever wants him, and let's sign Sherrod.
Yeah, I agree.
I like the Sherrod Ekblad combo.
Right. And let's be clear, at least I want to be clear on that end. it's not so much of a knock on Uyghur in the sense that, well, he sucks, get rid of him. We're going to lose him anyway, people. We're not going to be able to afford him. So,
like Vetrano.
Right. So rather than losing Sherratt because we don't have the money, you trade Uyghur now so you can sign Sherratt. That's I just want to be clear that we're not just saying Uyghur sucks, get rid of him. There's reasons there.
Correct. And I don't even know if we're going to have the money. I mean, don't forget, we're getting hit with that 5.4 million Yandel hit.
Right.
So
Right.
who knows how much money? I mean, we're going to have to clear some salary out.
Well, and that's where the thing with Hornquist, it's there's so many moving parts.
That's a catch-22.
Right.
Because I love the guy. I love his spirit, his heart, his leadership. If anybody deserves the captaincy, it's him.
Right. I agree. You know, I would love to see him get an extra year, obviously at a lower price, and get the C. But I don't think that's going to happen with Brunette. And that's why I keep saying, again, it's like when I keep saying Brunette needs to go, I said it last night, it's not Brunette sucks, he needs to go. I think that there's a lot of little changes that need to be made, and I don't trust Brunette to make any of them. And that's the thing.
If that was the case, he would have made them already in this series.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think they'll take the C away from Barkov. They should.
Right.
But I don't see that happening. If it happens, we'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. No, so, not if they keep the coach, they're not gonna shake things up like that a lot.
No, but you're right. Getting swept. I mean,
look at it, and we've talked about this. This is Tampa without Braden Point, and this is us with great goaltending: Ekblad, Giroux, Sherratt, and Reinhart, and Lundell. And we go from taking them to 6 games to 3 goals in 4 games. The only thing that's changed to the negative for us is coach. We've added a plethora of positive, we should be better reasons we should be better. And the only thing that's changed that could make us worse than last year is the coach. I don't know how else to explain.
And you know, it's another one of those what if.
Right.
Like last year, I still say we would have beat them with Ekblad, but this year it was Quenneville. So what if Quenneville was still around? Do you think things would have been different?
I have to say yes, because of the evidence we got last year. The only other explanation you can give is Tampa is just that much better. I mean, there's only so many explanations to 4 games of getting shut down. A game is one thing, but when another team does something to you for 4 straight games and you have no answers, you have to start looking at, okay, what are the coaches telling the players to do? And they played better last night. They
played a spirited game last night.
Right.
As opposed to the first 3 games.
Right.
Where I don't know where they were.
Right.
From the opening whistle last night to the end of the game before Maroon scored. And basically, you know, like you said, they took the air out of the balloon.
Yeah.
They played a good game, except they couldn't score.
Yeah.
They couldn't score, and they had their chances. But you know what? They really didn't have, like, for instance, the game before, Huberdeau had an empty net that should have been a goal. I don't think they had any of those last night. The defense, got to give it to Tampa, man. The defense was smothering.
Right. Yeah, they were absolutely relentless, and just we were just no rebounds. I mean, we were one and done when we did get shots.
And if there were rebounds, you know, they bounced over sticks.
Right.
But again, got to give Tampa credit for guarding that. They showed us the proper way to guard the front of the net.
Right. Yeah.
McDonough, Hedman, Cernak, Sergachev, those four guys were awesome.
Right.
Blocking shots, the forwards coming back again, defensive minded. That's why, when we went down 1-0, I think it was like 12 minutes and 51 seconds. And I
Right.
texted you, there's still time.
Right.
When it got down to about 8 minutes or so, I texted you and said, we're running out of time.
Right.
And Tampa went into that prevent defense.
Yep. And look,
the only chance we had was on the power play. And, we can talk about Huberto and we can talk about how inept the power play was. It's just blows my mind how we scored the power play goal the day before.
Right.
It was like 20 seconds. It was in the net. They moved it around. They found Reinhardt. Boom, it was in.
I know. And last night, we get the delay of penalty. We get a power play basically with 2 minutes left.
It was a little more, but
it was a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe there was 5
No,
minutes.
I think maybe it was a penalty. We got a penalty. I think maybe at the end of the first or the second with 2 minutes left. But one of the periods ended with us. There was the whole end of the period. But the point being is that I think we pulled Bob while we still had that power play. So we actually had a 6-on-4, and we could not get the puck in close enough. They were blocking too many shots. And as much as it's bad on us, Tampa just outplayed us every second, pretty much of every game, with the exception of the 5 minutes after Luosterainen got hurt.
All right. So here's what happened. Their coaching staff watched a lot of video.
Right.
And their players learned how to counter our attack.
Right.
Notice we didn't have that. We talked about it in last video. The waves that we had during the regular season. They just shut us down.
Right.
So getting back to the coach, they all should go. Every one of them. McKenzie, Sam, they should all go. Because you know what? Where were the other coaches helping Burnett out? Okay. Where was the defensive coach? If Mike Rupper can do video review and point out things that we did wrong, that's the job of the coaching staff, teaching or reviewing with the players what we're doing wrong and what we should do right. And you know what? They did the same thing last night. They let Maroon,
get along. Yeah.
There was another play where Kucherov did the same thing.
Right.
They just didn't, they didn't get it to him on that particular play, but he snuck. He was like right near the goal.
Right.
So their power play was, we lost 6 or 7 faceoffs in a row.
Right.
The third period, Barkov, Giroux. That's crucial.
Yeah.
Especially on the power play. As soon as you win the faceoff on the power play, then it gets set up. And Tampa showed us how to run a power play.
Yeah.
They just moved it around. In fact, I made a comment to you. How does Kucherov make a cross ice pass to Stamkos and it doesn't get intercepted? But Huberto tries it.
And Huberto keeps the puck on his stick for too long.
Yeah.
He keeps there was literally no time when puck hits stick and he knows where he's going with it.
And a man's on him right away. Our power play was just predictable.
Right. Yeah.
No.
And I don't ever want to see Barkov as the power play quarterback again. Just put me out there. I can skate. He's just not a power play quarterback. That experiment. We saw it the first few times they did the 5-4s. He was fumbling the puck at the blue line. And I don't know why. I don't know why he insisted upon it. And that's what I'm talking about with Brunette. He sticks with things that are clearly not working far too long.
Absolutely. Ekblad and Uyghur.
And he put them back together.
The whole season.
Right. He put them back together again last night. Somebody on the stream was talking about I think it was Richie was saying he thinks that Sherratt is hurt, and that's why he put Uyghur back up there. It was more about that. And Sherratt has been he did get banged up, and I've seen him wincing a lot. So I mean,
all the players get banged up
Right.
in the playoffs. Believe me, the Tampa players, Hagel, Stamkos, all of those guys
right,
blocking shots. And I told you this, the last video. When those guys go in the shower, they're probably all black and blue. All
yeah.
of them.
Well, good luck to
They
the Kane.
just sacrifice. And
Right.
I mean, Stamkos got smacked in the mouth by Gudis, and
Well,
his lip was split, and he
Yeah.
was like, that's a leader. So
That's a leader. And
where were
and
the leaders of this team? Barkov, MIA. Huberto, MIA.
Huberto worse than Barkov. I mean, we're kind of used to Barkov disappearing in the playoffs, but
They just hit him. All
but-
you have to do is hit Barkov, and
right. But Huberto's
goes.
play this series was bad. Barkov just was just MIA, but Huberto was actually many times a liability. He was just bad. He would get the puck and just panic almost every time.
bad decisions with
Just
the puck.
bad.
And again,
Right.
here's another one that blows my mind because he had his best season ever,
Right.
and he was in the top 3 in scoring.
Right.
He set a record for assists. So
Right.
just
No, and that's the thing is that, and that's why I look at the coach and part of the reason is because it's not obviously the players have to perform, but these are the players that we have. We're not blowing up a court or something stupid like that. So we've now lost to Tampa 2 years in a row, and it's gotten progressively worse in terms of our play against them. Somebody has to be at the top that can find a way to beat Tampa. And, it's just like my Dolphins against the Bills back in the 80s. No matter what happened, Shula and Stevens and Oliver Dottie could not figure out a way to beat Buffalo. No matter how good we were, when we get to Buffalo in the playoffs, same shit, different. It was the same thing. It was like everything that we did good. It was like all of a sudden we'd play this one game against Buffalo. We'd look like total ass. Like Marino sucked. Everything sucked because we could get outcoached every time. And I know we had the best season we've had, and we won a round, and I grasp that. And I know there's going to be the people that say these are the things that Tampa said after 2019. And I know the Capitals fans are going to say that, before they won, Washington kept choking it in the playoffs. I get that. I do get that. But Alexander Barkov is not Stamkos, is not Ovechkin. I don't
David.
Right. And McDavid. I don't see the parallels because I think we've seen enough with Barkov in the playoffs. Remember, he had the original Islander series. He was young. Okay, fine. But we've had the play-ins against the Isles. We've had 2 series against Tampa right now. And to some extent, it's not like he played great against Washington. That's how he's going to play in the playoffs. Barkov is not going to, there's not a light that's going to turn on that's going to turn him into Ovechkin or Stamkos in the playoffs. That's not coming. This is the player he is. What's it, 9 years? This is who he is.
Yep.
So we have to find a way as a team because Tampa's not going anywhere. I mean, if we want to win a cup, but Vasilevsky, what was he, 25, 24, 26? I mean, whatever he is, he ain't going anywhere. We're going to have to deal with this team for a long time.
Now, I mean, you said it last night. Tampa's winning the cup. I don't see anybody beating him.
Not just that. I don't want to interrupt you, but you're right. But this is our bad now because everybody else has got to play. Tampa's going 7 games and they're going to sit at home for a week at least and rest and recuperate. We just screwed everybody. Go on.
And last year we gave Tampa their toughest series.
Right. Yeah.
So, this year we probably gave them their easiest series.
Mhm. Yeah.
So anyway, I obviously want to see the Rangers beat the Canes, but I don't see the Rangers beating Tampa. I don't even see Carolina beating Tampa. And then coming out of the West, who knows, Colorado is probably going to be, I just, like I said, as long as you got Vasilevsky, that just gives
Right.
you such an advantage.
Right. Right.
I mean, the guy's a winner.
It's impossible. Not
The guy's a
impossible,
winner.
but what's that? 10-0 now. Look, he started the game with a .88 goals against in elimination games, and it got lower, people.
Yeah, 49 shots.
It got lower.
His goals against is probably like 9.85 now.
No,
But
it was
the stat was he was 9-1 in clinching games.
No, I think it was 9-0.
No, it was 9-1. But just remember this. He shut us out last year. He shut us out.
Right.
And then he shut out the Canes in their clinching game.
I'm going to.
Oh, no, I think they shut out Montreal too. I don't know, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. But if they win their third cup, then you know what? They're deserving of it.
That's where I got after game 3.
And they truly become, like I said yesterday, 4 in a row is a dynasty. The Islanders were the last one to do it. So it just goes to show you how tough it is to win 3 in a row.
And I think
it hasn't been a 3 in a row Stanley Cup winner.
No. And I think that's something that I brought up is playing into it here. They haven't. So there's 2 angles to this, or 2 reasons why this, I think, is having an effect. They haven't had a traditional full 82 games without stopping in the playoffs, and we won the cup both times. We had the stoppage, then we had the short season. So I think number 1, they're fresher than a normal 2 cup winning team, and number 2, I'm sure in the back of their minds is that those 2, they don't have an asterisk next to them. But maybe in their minds, they're thinking we want to do it the traditional way and 82 and just full on and without the stoppage. I think that in some way that's coming into play.
Listen, also their core is getting up there. Stamkos has been around.
Right.
Hedman's been around. I think, if you look it up, those guys have probably at least 10 years.
Yeah.
Kucherov, I'm not sure of, but a lot of, that those 3 guys, have been around. I know, Stamkos and Hedman have been, been around forever.
I'm gonna Google that because I'm curious in comparison to our guys, in comparison to Barkov and Huberdeau. Let's see. I don't have my glasses, so let's see. I'll be lucky to. He's 32. Stamkos is 32. So that's a little bit older than our guys.
All you have to do is look up career, and you'll see, if you Wikipedia or whatever. Career. So it'll tell you the year he came in.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Hopefully, I can.
But I mean, that's a leader.
He's 32, and let me see. Career, he's got 922 games played. So that's
what year was his first year?
Let me see here. I got to scroll down. Career, God dang. I think I'm seeing 2008, 2009. Yeah.
Okay. So
right. Yeah. 2008. So what's that? 14 years?
14 years, bro.
That's 14 years.
What about Hedman?
Oh, geez. You're going to make me. I'm
14
blind.
years.
I'm blind. We'll leave it at that. I didn't bring my glasses in here. I got to say.
So obviously, he's 32. He's probably got another 4 years at least.
Right.
But this will be a sweet one for them. Like you said, the other 2, the one shortened season, the one was in the bubble.
Right.
So
yeah, that's right.
Anyway, enough talking about Tampa. Let's get back to the Panthers.
I know.
So So we talked about what else? What else? We want to go down. I mean, we could go down the list. Duclair, a 30-plus goal scorer, does nothing.
Well, he benched twice. I mean, that's not good.
You know, Bennett, Reinhardt, you know, the guys that were scoring.
Right.
Lundell, Marchman, obviously losing him.
Missing Marchman, you know, and then
You know.
he did put Joe out there last night.
Yeah, I like that.
Right. I mean, he had to do it.
And he played a decent game.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have a ton of minutes, and that's one thing that, I mean, we had the game with Lundell had 4 minutes, and then last night when they started the third period, they had said Joe only had 5. So the point being there is that he wasn't rolling the lines with the even times at all.
No, he went back to the Barkov line.
Right.
There were 2 lines: the Bennett line,
Yeah.
and the Barkov line.
Right.
And that's has been his pattern
Right.
when he gets in trouble.
Right.
So I don't know. Losing the way we did, I think we're gonna lose Giroux.
Oh yeah.
Just my opinion.
I'm fine with that. He didn't show me anything.
He's gonna want,
Right.
he's gonna want his big money.
Right.
Be his last contract, and
Right,
somebody
right.
will give it to him.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see Mark Giordano took less money to re-sign with Toronto
Wow.
because he wanted to leave them with more cap?
Wow. Nice.
Pretty cool.
That's nice.
So we'll
That's
probably
nice.
lose Giroux.
Yeah.
Mammon. Now, Mammon Marchment. I don't know with concussions.
That's
You know
the
what
thing.
I mean?
Right.
I mean, Ekblad's had 4 of them.
Right.
And he's come back.
Yeah, but he's not playing a tough style. I mean, Marchman, that's his game. You know what I mean? So I know.
I think Mammon was probably one of, if not the best player out there last night.
Right. Yeah. No, and the announcers.
He won every battle. Even the announcers
Yeah.
were big on him.
Right.
So what do you do with him?
Well, I
don't know how much money we're going to have.
Well, we not a lot. Now, if you move, there's the pieces that you could move. I don't really see Hornquist going anywhere because he's got that modified no trade clause. He's not going to want to go anywhere. So you can move a Chari that's 2.5 or 2.25.
Uyghur.
And
He's
Uyghur, I don't know what
is he
he's at.
making?
I don't know. He's probably close to 3 or something. I don't think he banked a big contract. So I mean, there's some leeway there to, have enough money for Mammon, Marchment, and Sherrod.
I don't see us getting rid of Huberdeau. I'm sorry.
No, I don't. I know that there's a lot of people thinking that, but
I don't think that's happening.
Anything that's going to happen that way, whether it be a Huberdeau or, which is not likely, or a Uyghur, it's going to happen in the off season because we're going to be good. And so we're not going to be getting rid of players at the trade deadline. We're not going to trade Mackenzie Uyghur at the trade deadline. I don't think that'll happen. I think the move to steady it right now, if you've already made up your mind that you can't afford Uyghur, if you're Zito and you're going to lose him, you trade him in the offseason, use the money to sign Sherrod. We have no first round pick. Right.
But he's not worth a first round pick.
No. He's not gonna. I mean, he was a 7th. You know what I mean? If Zito can get a 2, you'd have to say Zito God. You know what I mean? If he could get a 2, that would be. I don't see it. So.
You know what sucks?
What
really sucks is Bob was really solid.
I know.
I mean, obviously he had, I think last night was, whatever, the 11 goals. What'd they win by? 2-0?
Yeah, but the second was the empty net.
Okay.
which
That
I
he
didn't
was
want them to
just-
pull him, but go ahead.
No,
sorry.
I agree. Listen, I agreed with you
Yeah,
because that's exactly what we feared. I mean,
Right.
we were good at 5-on-5, but that's the normal thing that they do.
right. Well, we had the
It-
power play too, and that's what we
except
said.
we didn't, yeah, except we didn't take advantage of it.
Right. Yeah.
But if Bob had played like this last year, who knows?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, props to Bob. Bob did his job. He made a lot. You always talk about those saves that he has to make. They had 3 breakaways, and I was cringing when they were going in on the breakaway, and he stopped them all.
I'm thinking something here, and I'm not backing off of what I've said about Q and Brunette and being the difference, but because somebody's going to figure this out and say it in the comments, so I want to get ahead of it. You mentioned the bubble, and I just wonder if we were only so much better last year because we didn't have the pressure of the fans either way. And we were just sitting there by ourselves without that whole, and Tampa couldn't feed off. I just wonder how much of being in the bubble played into us coming so close last year versus what we've seen this year.
Good point.
But
that place was rocking, and that place sells out every game.
Right.
I mean, and they had a crowd outside.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The play-ins were in the bubble. Did they still do the bubble last season?
No, I think it was the year before.
It was the year before. So scratch that. I'm trying to give the pro brunette crowd something.
Yeah,
here,
it's
but
okay.
No,
it's okay.
It wasn't. The play-ins was the bubble. Last year wasn't. So
Right.
yeah, it all runs together. So my apologies. I'm trying to play devil's advocate there, and I'm trying to think of a reason that isn't Q and Brunette as a reason. So that's my bad.
If the NHL lets Quenneville back in, as I talked about it with you last night,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen. But if it happens and he goes to another team, obviously it's like, if they're going to let him in, why wouldn't he come back to us?
I thought about that, and I think that, and I'm playing Bettman here. I think that he'll feel like if Q just resigns for a year and then comes back to Florida, I think Bettman's going to feel like they just kind of like shoved it in his face or something.
Yeah, then they shouldn't let him back.
I don't disagree with you.
It's not fair to us. He didn't want to resign.
Right. I don't know how, and you don't know how the owners and all of that, the fan, and that's the other thing with yeah. I mean, Bettman could say Q could come back, but wherever he would go, the controversy that's going to come with that, which team wants that? Are the Panthers owners gonna take on? Are they gonna go to bat for Q and take on that controversy? It'd have to be a team that really, really is like.
That's why I'm thinking it's not going to happen.
Right.
For that reason.
Right.
So I want to add something here, because Vinny Viola is not like hands-on, but he has a lot of influence. Obviously, It's his money.
Right.
I wonder what his take on Brunette is, and I wonder if he's going to get in Zito's ear.
Yeah.
And tell him he needs to be replaced.
Right.
And if Zito is his own man, he makes a decision on his own.
Right.
But a lot of times the owner of the team basically dictates.
Yeah.
Because in the end, they're all working for Vinny.
Well, and look, I mean, Vinny hired Q. I mean, and then Q brought in Vinny didn't go out and search for Andrew Brunette. And what we're witnessing with Andrew Brunette is why Bob Bugner was skedaddled and we got Q, because the owners recognized, okay, I think we're ready, but we need a veteran coach. We need a guy who's been there, done that.
Yeah, we always
So-
get these guys that are like rookie coaches.
Right. And everybody wants to talk about they can grow into the job, etc. But it's not, we're not Detroit, we're not Winnipeg. We're not looking at 3 or 5 years from now. This is now.
That's why Barry Trotz is the guy. And I don't know why the Islanders fired him. He turned that team around.
Yeah, I mean,
And
ask anybody why they fired Gerard Gallant either. It ain't the product on the ice.
And then, there's something, obviously we don't see what goes on
Right.
under the surface. We just see, them on the bench.
The owners don't like bald guys. That's what it is.
Then they're not going to hire Trotz. But the reason why I like Trotz, and I wanted him before he went to Washington, when he left Washington, I like Trotz because he's defense first, which means they got to retool things in the system because, this system was like run and gun. But we see what happened in the play. It's great in the regular season.
Right. But defense and championships, wins.
Yeah. So here's a situation where I've said it 1,000 times. Stats mean nothing.
Right.
And I used the shots on goal analogy that 49 shots.
Yeah.
But no goals.
No.
It means nothing.
And how many blocks? That's the other thing with Tampa. It's just like, jeez.
Listen, that power play, we had one power play. We got 5 shots off. Vasilevsky stopped them all.
Right.
But that's what they did. Tampa just continues to shoot.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. They don't, they pass it around. They find a guy. Hedman seemed to be all alone almost every power play.
Yep.
So he had the option to shoot.
Yeah.
Again, the number one thing is to feed Stamkos. And that's why I'm glad they moved Ekblad. The power play had more success when Ekblad was in that Stamkos Ovechkin spot. The righty one-timer. But
Barkov's not getting, they focused this, yesterday, you could tell that Barkov was instructed to get the puck to Ekblad more. But
they weren't getting it in his sweet spot.
No,
that's the problem.
And to me, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't like Barkov as the quarterback. But you've got to, as a player, how do I put this? I would think that as if that's your power play quarterback, you're putting him out there because you trust him to make the proper distribution with the puck. It shouldn't be where an entire game goes by and then after the game, the coach has to go, Ekblad's been open the whole freaking night. If you have to tell your power play quarterback that, you got the wrong guy running it.
I put the failure on the power play on 2 guys, Barkov and Huberdeau.
Right. Yeah.
So, in fact, one power play, they put the second unit out first.
So here's the question.
They seem to do better than the first unit.
Since I know there's going to be the pro brunette and you know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm anti-brunette. I believe, and Stu believes, the changes that need to be made, the only way that happens is if we get a new coach. So for those of you who think that we should not fire brunette, sell me, don't sell me brunette. Sell me what changes do you think we need to make that brunette is going to be willing to make that get us over this hump? That's my questioning. I'm open to it. I've been back and forth on brunette. I thought maybe we could, but now I'm thinking maybe not. So if you disagree, that's fine, but sell it to me. Say, what are the changes that brunette is actually going to make that is going to get the difference? Because we could do this all over again next year. And guess who we're going to play in the if we want to win the cup, somebody's got to beat Tampa, and it's probably going to have to be us. So how are we getting over this hump?
He didn't really make, other than moving, a couple of D-men around and maybe juggling the line. Well, no, he didn't really juggle the lines. He
Right.
sat Duclair out, but still, he just went with the flow and hoped for the best.
Right. So
I mean, if Mike Rupp can show those two videos, where was Burnett showing those videos to the defenseman saying, it's like Top Gun. I'm not leaving my wingman.
right.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not leaving a guy all alone in front.
Right. I didn't
I'm
even
not
see
letting
who
the
it
guy
was.
sneak behind us
Right. Right. Right.
or get muscled. There was that goal the other night where Ekblad got muscled, in
Yeah.
front again.
Yeah.
I think it happened to Forsling on one goal.
Forsling did not have a good series.
That just
Yeah.
really
I know.
disappointed me because
I know.
he's been our most solid defenseman.
I mean, how much of this is playoff pressure and not being used to playoff pressure? I don't know. I know I've heard from a lot of fans of other teams that, it took them 3 and 4 and 5 years before they figure it out. And sometimes teams have playoff runs and the core just never never wins. You know what I mean?
I saw an article. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know if it was George, but they highlighted the Capitals, St. Louis.
Right.
They highlighted those teams that had to go through 3 or 4 years. And listen, Tampa too, before they won, the cup last year. I mean, the year
Right.
before. They, listen, they got swept by Columbus after they won the President's Cup.
Right.
So,
Right.
it happens to the best. Goldie made a post-game video that said, growing pains and they'll learn from this and whatnot. You get into the playoffs and it's just like you play all year to get. I mean, the LA Kings won the cup. They were the 8th seed.
Right. Right.
And they came back in every series to win their cup. And then they obviously won another one. So you don't have a season like we had and just go out in 4 games. That's what hurts the most.
And the other thing is when Washington was struggling and then winning, and then Tampa struggled and won, and even the Kings, when they struggled and won, they weren't running up against what possibly could end up being a dynasty in Tampa. There wasn't this brick wall of a monster in Vasilevsky.
Listen,
and it may just end up being that, like I said with my Dolphins. I mean, if it wasn't for the Buffalo Bills, the Dolphins' 80s would have been full of Super Bowls. So we had Dan Marino, we had Don Shula, we had the Marks. I mean, but we couldn't get past Buffalo. Just couldn't, no matter what we did. And I'm seeing parallels where at some point, as a fan base, and it might take another year, but at some point we may just as a fan base have to realize just we can't get past Tampa.
Listen, you got to give it to Tampa and right. John Cooper and his staff.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they win their third one, and again, 4 in a row is a dynasty.
Right.
But let's just say if they win their third in a row,
right,
you got to put them up there.
Yeah, you have to.
They're a real solid team.
Yeah, you have to.
Especially, look at the third period, man.
They
adjusted. They did that clog up the middle thing.
Yeah.
1-3-1, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they just shut us down. They didn't give us any, any flow. And that's what the Panthers had no flow in this series.
No, I mean, like
they did in the regular season. No flow at all.
Right.
1 and out.
Yeah. No, nobody with a rebound. I said that after game 3, the rebound would be sitting there and it would just be sitting there. And like I said, in the rest of the season, the puck would be, we'd slam, somebody would have been flying in and slammed in the back of the net. And all series long, Vasilevsky leaves a rebound and it's just sitting there. And you just,
shots were blocked.
Yeah.
Got to give it to all the Tampa players that block shots, that sacrificed, that desire, that heart to want to win. That wasn't, we didn't have it.
No, I saw Montour lay down and block a shot late in the game in the third period yesterday. And I believe I mean, you might be able to find one more, but I believe that was the first time I saw a Panther lay down and block a shot the entire series. And Tampa was doing it practically every shift. I mean, it's just is what, and that part, I don't even know. I mean, the only thing I can think of that can change that can get these guys to flip that switch is a coach. That's the only thing. And so it's like with Uyghur, it's like, it's not that he's bad. It's like, we're going to lose him anyway. Like we did with Vetrano. With Brunette, it's just like, if you guys can sell me the changes he's going to make that are going to get us over the Tampa hump, I'll listen. But to me, I think that the specific changes that need to be made usually only come with the new coach. And that's it. That's all I can say about that.
And if you want to chime in, if you're leaning towards Brunette being replaced, throw it out there on the available coaches who you think we should go after and why.
Yeah, because we're taking.
I mean, I'm telling you, unless Zito's on the phone today saying to Trot, don't sign with Winnipeg. Come down to Florida.
Right. Well,
but again, we don't know. We don't know what
we don't
Zito's
know.
Thinking.
We don't know. But the other thing that could happen is I could be making a montage of all the times we were just like, no Tortorella, no Tortorella, no Tortorella. Whoops.
He doesn't, he sticks around for a couple of, it's just,
I know.
When did we do that video? Was it early in the year where we talked about the revolving door of coaches? Peter DeBoer.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Tortorella. I mean, these guys just, they get fired and they go somewhere else.
I know.
McLean, what's his name? The guy that was the coach of San Jose and now he's coaching LA. Daryl Sutter.
Sutter. Yeah. Sutter too. Right.
No. There's another guy.
I know there's
the coach of San Jose and then he's like in LA now.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Listen, what else is there to say? You got anything else?
No.
Okay. Me either. So
I got.
Do you want me to get Randy and Billy?
Yeah, let's try to get. I'm sure today might be a little bit too soon. So
no, I'm not going to bother him today for sure.
Yeah, but we'll
maybe even get George on here.
Yeah, we'll have a collection of guys over.
All right.
Week. Yep. And it's been a great year, people. Now we're not done with the content. We're not stopping. Soon as I said I was going fishing later on this afternoon, they said it was going to rain all day. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen there. I don't know which game I'm going to do tonight, but I'm going to do a game tonight just to cleanse my palate.
I want the Rangers to beat the Canes. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
Because I always, go back to, my roots.
Right.
If the Panthers can't win it, obviously the Islanders are not playing, so then I revert back because I was a Ranger fan first, Islander fan next, and then Panther fan. So
gotcha. Yeah.
So it's going to be rocking at the Garden tonight.
Yep. Yeah. 2-1.
Anyway, guys.
All right, guys.
Thanks for your support.
Yep.
Hit the like button. Definitely, if you are new, hit the subscribe button. The next goal is to get Jaws to 3,000.
Yeah, let's
subscribers.
Yep. All right, guys. Appreciate all the support, and I'll see you again later on tonight.